Your defending Stanley Cup champion Los Angeles Kings are back in the postseason after winning the President's Trophy, just barely, but after winning the President's Trophy, a 53-win season is in the books, and we are primed to potentially compete for another cup. Not the best run of form, 5-5 in our last 10 games heading into the playoffs, but if this team has shown anything in the past, it is their ability to adapt and adjust and make the best of it. Adapt and adjust is the same thing. So, it's for emphasis. It's for emphasis. Speaking of emphasis, there's an emphasis on this offense because good God, was this offense outrageous in the regular season. All four lines pretty much firing on all cylinders. And again, I know how we handled the contracts, the addition of Matt Duchene that bumped Van Kadishin down to the third line. There have been some questionable moves, especially to, the arguments. They're like, hey, continue this series until the editing's good to go. I don't know how long that's going to be. So, yeah, maybe, again, it would have been interesting to try and get draft picks. It's still going to be interesting if there's a next season, which there probably will be at this, rate. But, as far as what happens with this team, I don't know. I mean, worst case scenario is that we fall short here, which would be a disaster. But this team is arguably better than we were last year. I mean, Anisimov, of course, has only developed, and you talk about the addition of Matt Duchene into that top six and that third line being as obscene as it is. I mean, this team has the potential to be very, very dangerous, and of course, are we witnessing the last postseason in which Carter Hart will be a member of the Los Angeles Kings. Now, we knew trading Glebov was a risk because Hart, we wouldn't have that contract control with him. At the end of the day, whether or not Carter stays, I don't know. I mean, as it stands right now, he doesn't want to come back. So we knew there was a chance he'd walk for nothing, but we won a Stanley Cup with him, which is the best part. So, I mean, it was worth the risk. What happens with the goaltending, I don't know. I mean, Matt Duchene, does he come back? Probably not. Especially for that much money. It's way too much money, and we have the youth from within to replace him. And, of course, Anisimov will likely be back. Bjorn Fott as well. What happens with Tyler Madden? Time will tell here. Really, it all depends on how things go down here in the postseason. So with that said, let's get a look at what we're up against. The Vegas Golden Knights. VGK. What is the situation here? Hello? Okay, I mean, the bottom six is really interesting to me. Let's start at the top, though. So we do have Peyton Krebs alongside Cody Glass and Mark Stone. So they have some big contracts coming up. Second line is Tim Stützle alongside a Wild Bill Carlson and Brett Connolly. Third line of Victor Arvidsson, Ben Jones, and Mike McLeod. Fourth line, Brendan Leipzig. The currently unemployed Brendan Leipzig. It's a good life lesson, kids. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Don't use hockey culture as an excuse. No, just don't be a dick in life. General rule, pretty easy to follow. Brendan couldn't follow that rule, unfortunately. Because, let's take a shot at, who was it? Tanner Pearson's wife that he took a shot at? Successful Tanner Pearson compared to Brendan Leipzig. Apply a Conor McGregor clip here. Anyway, we've given him far too much attention. Yanni Gourde is with him, as well as Michael Furland. It's a really interesting team. I mean, cap-wise, obviously, they're about to have some major trouble keeping the team together. Defensively, okay, we're running out of excuses. Nate Schmidt on a pretty big contract alongside Evan Bouchard. Second pairing of my boy Nick Hague and Colin Miller. Pretty interesting contract. Colin Miller back in Vegas. Christian Wolanin is alongside not Matt Dumba, but the Italian Daryl Dumba. Former first-round pick. Good stuff. I mean, it's not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. They have Matt Murray between the pipes, 84 overall at this point. No injuries, but Hayes, VC, and Pacioretty as... excuse me? I never want to hear that I'm not allowed to cap whale a contract and that I'm not allowed to sign someone to $17 million just to make sure we hit the floor again. I never want to hear that. Ever again. Max Pacioretty, $11 million. And he certainly did not have a season worth giving him $11 million for. 42 goals in this year aside. I never want to hear it again, that it's unrealistic and that the AI don't do it, so it's cheap. Never want to hear that again. That is crazy. You know, again, Vegas, they have a good team. They're a solid roster. They made the postseason for a reason. But at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, we have the advantage in every single aspect. New captain Alex Turcotte leading this team. But will it be to victory? Man, I still love VGK's jerseys. I own both Vegas jerseys now. I couldn't help it. You can't have one Vegas jersey without having the other. They're so good. They're even better in person. They're amazing. That said, yeah, there might end up being a jersey collection video at some point. That said, we need to get down to business here. We are the favorites. We are the defending champions. Now it's time to prove it. Now it's time to play like it. Now it's time to prove that we deserve the hype that we have heading into this postseason. Kale Clague scored 15 seconds in on the first shot of the game before I could even pause it. So a fantastic start. We'll see how we build upon it here in the first period. Okay. Wow, so you knew Brendan Leipzig was going to score. He and Victor Arvidsson turned it around pretty quickly. But from there, Austin Wagner, Rick Van Kadishin, and Tyler Madden, it is 4-2. 6 goals on 26 combined shots at the end of the first period. Good God. That's insane. Second period, only 1 goal this time out, but it is Matt Duchene. Good stuff there. I'm happy to have Matt Duchene on this team, man. I'm hoping he can be kind of that veteran leadership as well. And we go to the third now. Up by 3. We'll see what we can do. It's a good thing, you know, with this team, in theory, in a real-life scenario, you know, you have young players, more established players, but players, you know, nonetheless, who know how to win. That's a big thing for us. Power play for Vegas goes to waste under 4 minutes remaining. The Los Angeles Kings defend home ice in Game 1, and that is a damn fine way to start a series. Great job for Carter Hart, his first playoff game in a while. Of course, he missed the end of last year in the Cup run. Kale Clague and Matt Duchene, great games as well. So, very happy to see that we started off on the right foot. And again, the majority of the team had at least a point in that game. Phillips, Marsh, and Van Kadishin. A little bit rocky, but Vince Dunn was fantastic. And again, Carter Hart shrugs off a bit of a rough start to the first 7 or 8 minutes of the first period to shut things down from that point on. So, very happy to see that result. The Ontario Reign going to be finishing up their season with the usual 3 games in 3 days stretch. And as it stands, yeah, they're playoff bound. That's been the one thing, man. Our AHL teams have had fantastic regular seasons as well. We've done a great job of keeping, you know, the talent pool flowing through the AHL despite being competitive for the last few years. Game 2. Let's see how this goes. Can we continue to defend home ice? And, of course, get off to a really good start in this series as a whole. First period, and it's scoreless. 14 shots to 6 in their favor, so very beneficial for us. Carter Hart, great job so far. Second period, goal apiece. Matthew Savoy on the power play. Victor Arvidsson scores for Vegas. They have a 10-shot advantage, yet we are still tied as we go to the third period here. Next goal is important, and it's Matthew Savoy again, scoring, getting one past Matt Murray here. Power play for Vegas, an extended power play. Somehow they don't score. Power play for the Kings? No. 6.5 to go. Jarrett Anderson-Dolan makes it 3-1. And with that, Rasmus Kupari caps it off with an empty net goal. The Los Angeles Kings now up 2-0 in this series over Vegas. Carter Hart. What a return to the playoffs for him. Unbelievable. He has been fantastic, as has Matt Duchene. 5 points now through 2 games for Duchene in this series so far. This has been a fantastic start for this team, all things considered. And again, Carter Hart is playing out of his damn mind. I mean, he's playing for money right now. Money he might not be getting from us. Look at Matt Duchene. God damn. I mean, again, I'm not saying that there isn't any legitimacy to the argument that I shouldn't have signed him and I should have gone elsewhere. There absolutely is. Yuha Curry at the NHL level this past year might have absolutely worked out. I do not deny that. However, I am very happy with how that signing has gone. Let's get Bohinski back in. He's shown really no... You know what? Screw Bohinski. I wanted to get some players to develop, but now it's about best lines and making sure that this team is the best it can possibly be in order to win the Calder Cup. So that is the game plan change there. Perfect. So that defense is a little bit more shaky than it would have been otherwise, but I'm excited to see what they can do. And for our NHL stats here, Carter Hart, Jesus. I think the problem is if Carter wants to re-sign with us, that pretty much confirms that Carl Grundstrom's out the door, if not somebody else. I mean, it would be very tough to bring back this team, near impossible to bring back this team in its current form. Carter, as it stands, wants $10.5 million a season, which means we'd have to give him more like $11 million a year, and we simply cannot invest $11 million into a goaltender. It doesn't work, especially in this game. But in real life, oftentimes, Bobrovsky, Carey Price, it doesn't really go too well to invest $10 million in a goalie. It just doesn't. Even if you're Carey Price, where you have undeniably been the best goaltender, for a dominant period of time. He might not be that anymore, but, even if you've been the guy who's like, okay, you are undeniably the best for a couple of years, you're still not worth $10 million in the modern NHL with the salary cap. It's just not worth it. And even in video game form, Carter Hart isn't going to be worth it. But right now, hopefully he can continue to perform at a ridiculously high level. And that will help see us, I hope, out of the first round here against Vegas. Game 3 underway. Vegas at home. What can we do on the road here? We can get off to a good start is what we can do. Matt Savoy strikes again. Jakub Anisimov makes it 2-0. 13 shots to 10. Damn good start, especially considering Anisimov isn't exactly an offensive threat on most occasions. Second period. Good God. Now, I did mean to take a look at why we were in so much penalty trouble in the last game, but it didn't matter because we won. And my goodness, now I don't think it would matter here either because things are looking pretty good. Van Kadishin, Wagner, Anisimov. We've talked about Van Kadishin and how happy I am that he's still producing points on the third line and as a power play specialist. Austin Wagner. There was a moment a little bit over a year ago in game time where I said he is just burning the money that he could have gotten because he's had such a bad season. And since I've said that, he has been the ideal fourth liner. He has been such a huge part of this team. And Anisimov has a 2-goal game. Unbelievable stuff. Third period underway. We are steamrolling the Vegas Golden Knights right now, although crazier things have happened that I don't really want to talk about. Extended power play for Vegas, that goes to waste. And with that, time is running out, and this is going to do it. Carter Hart with a 31-save shutout in Game 3. This is one of the most dominant single-round playoff performances I have ever seen. Perhaps this organization or the NHL has ever seen. And we have seen some pretty stupid performances from the likes of Jonathan Quick in the past for this club. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Duchene, Anisimov, Kapari, and Savoy leading the way. I mean, look at the plus-minus numbers here. Duchene and Bjorn fought. I mean, Matt Duchene has been insane. And now 31 saves for Carter Hart. This has just been unreal. There's back-to-back minors on Wagner and Marsh. I love that holding the stick can be a penalty in-game, or, in the sim, but in-game that just doesn't exist. But this is fantastic. 14-3. The scoring in this series thus far. As the Ontario Reign are moving into the playoffs, they will be taking on the San Diego Gulls. So, Los Angeles against Anaheim in a way. So as we get ready for Game 4, looking to complete the sweep. Let's just take a look at this. Grundstrom hasn't even had a point yet, but we are steamrolling this team. That top line has been extremely quiet. That is shocking. But that second line's been phenomenal. Matt Duchene has 7 points in 3 games. That is crazy. That second line is doing some unbelievable damage. But yeah, if that top line wakes up, then Jesus, imagine, right? Clegg's been phenomenal. Dunn, I mean, plus-minus wise, has been phenomenal. And Anisimov has 5 points in 3 games. That is what a season he's having. But of course, the numbers I came here to look at. Oh my God. Carter Hart, a .971 save percentage through 3 playoff games. Absolutely ridiculous. Can we punch our ticket to the second round? It's game 4 against Vegas. Here we go. First period and a damn good start. Genther wakes up. Matthew Savoy also strikes again. 13 shots to 10, 2-0 on the board. Second period, Vegas battles back, so Savoy makes it 3-0 with the second goal of the game. Cody Glass scores, as does Colin Miller on the power play. That was early on in the second period. We shut them down from there. Carter's looking a little bit human yet again. We're up by 1. Heading into the third period of this potential elimination game, but we have a long way to go. Power play goes to waste. Vegas will get an abbreviated one that they can't capitalize on either. So we approach the halfway point of this third period. Power play for VGK. We kill it off. Power play of our own now. And Dylan Genther potentially ices the game with the power play goal. The Los Angeles Kings have swept the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round of the playoffs. Carter Hart, another tremendous performance, no doubt about it. Matthew Savoy and Dylan Genther, 2 of our big-name players, showing up and getting the job done. That concludes a dominant first round there. We gave up, if I'm not mistaken, 5 goals in 4 games. I mean, what more can you ask for? What more could you possibly ask for? Again, Carl Grundstrom was incredibly quiet. No points, 6 penalty minutes. Like, he didn't do much. Turcotte didn't do much. Genther really woke up there down the stretch, but it was the second line. Savoy, Duchene, and Kapari were fantastic. On top of the fact that the third line was pretty strong as well. The fourth line certainly contributed. But defensively, 3 points for Clegg. 5 points for Anisimov. And then, of course, Marsh and Phillips just able to hold things down. They're one of my favorite pairings ever because there's no reason that they should be as solid as they are, but they're so good. And then Carter Hart, like I said, he is playing for a payday. It might not be from us, but Carter Hart is unreal. And if he continues to play like that, how could we possibly lose? There's no way. I mean, he is nearly giving us a chance. It's crazy. And then Matt Duchene, 9 points in 4 games. That is absolutely unbelievable. So we take a look here. Ontario dropped game 1 against San Diego in their best of 5. They dropped game 2 as well. Oh my God, look at the win differential. The San Diego Gulls do not sweep Ontario. That win differential is insane. That is the Western Conference of the AHL for you, though. One more opportunity, and we're going to get confirmation on who we're playing in the NHL, as we know it's going to Game 5 between the Reign and the Gulls. And the NHL, the Kings, will be playing the 45-win Vancouver Canucks in round 1. As Vancouver, they were able to make it past Calgary in just 4 games. You had Minnesota over Winnipeg, Dallas over Nashville. Over in the East, Pittsburgh beats Carolina, Buffalo beats New Jersey, Ottawa sweeps Tampa, and Toronto makes it past CBJ. 4 wins down, 4 to go. One hell of a start for the Los Angeles Kings on their quest to repeat as Stanley Cup champions. I thank you guys very much, of course, for watching this video, for continuing to support me, this channel, this series. It is tremendously appreciated, I promise you that. Of course, more good stuff on the way, not just with NHL stuff, but other hockey stuff coming up as well. Once I'm done with the roster editing process, it's really going to free up my extra time in terms of putting more effort into some videos that I really do want to make. And there are some good ones coming up. I can promise you that. So subscribe if you haven't already. Continue to follow that. Again, if you haven't already, drop a like, subscribe, check out everything in the description. The socials are there. The Teespring as well. Again, put up some new stuff there. Going to continue to try and step up the merch game this year. Picked a great year to do it when a lot of people are low on funds because of this pandemic. But hey, the option's there if any of that intrigues you. And of course, a shout out to those of you on Patreon. There is not a new episode up today. I will make sure, though, that Tuesday there will be a new episode of the Houston series. So keep an eye out then and there. I love you all. Stay safe. I'll catch you next time.